Hello, this is David with Enertechnix, and today we're going to talk about Digital Camera Viewer version 1.1. So if we look over here to the left, we've got our available cameras. That's all the cameras that are found on the network. Right now we have two on our network, our IR camera and our visible camera. Right now we're looking at our visible camera, as you can see up here. If we change this to match the IP address of the IR camera, it'll display that. And there we go. We're kind of looking at the same object here, so there's a bit of a correlation between these two. We'll swap back to the visible. And so if you look over here to the right, we've got a couple buttons that I'll explain in more depth later, but basically we've got a record button for recording video, record segments, which is timed video recordings, and then we have a snapshot button, which just takes a screenshot of the image, and an auto snap, which will do a timed screenshot of the image. We also have our full screen mode, which is this button here. So if we were to click this, it'll go into a full screen mode. You can exit this at any time by just clicking on the image. And then we also have our settings button and an exit button. So let's go ahead and go to settings. On our settings page, we can find all of our basic settings. On the top here, we've got our digital zoom settings. So we can enable this by clicking digital zoom. So if we go ahead and enable that, we've zoomed 2.2 times magnification. We can adjust the pan and tilt here by increasing or decreasing these buttons. And if we want to remove that, all we have to do is deselect digital zoom. Below that we have our video capture settings. All of these are linked to our record buttons on the front panel. So right here we have our clip duration and record interval. These two buttons are linked to the button on the front panel called record segments. So if we were to change those, our clip duration, if right now we have it set at 10 seconds, our record interval is 15 seconds. So for every 15 seconds we're going to record 10 seconds of video. If we go ahead and change our view to our IR camera, and go back to settings, we can see here that our auto snapshot is set to 5 seconds, so that's just every 5 seconds we'll take a screenshot of the image. And our recorded frames per second, this is just the frames per second that we expect to get while we're recording. So right now we're hopping around between 27 and 29, which is fine. So below that we have our color set. So this is just a color table that we use to change the color on the image here. If we were to change that to any one of these, it'll change our camera and give it a colorized image. We've got 5 different options. Go back and change it to 0. The video's file path, this is just the file path destination for all the videos that you record, and same with the snapshots down here. And this camera link button down here is just an indicator to show whether or not the camera is connected and working. Green is good, red is disconnected. If we go to advanced settings, we'll be met with a password window. The default password is pass. You'll see that you're able to change it on this screen right here, change password. We'll leave it the same for now. So on this menu we've got our video codec, which is just the compression that we're using on the video when we record it. The default is none. We usually leave it at that, but if you're pressed for space, you can select any one of these. Max percent of size and percent reduced to. These are just settings for the hard drive, so once the hard drive fills up to 75%, we will reduce all of our folders that were found on the settings page here. So both of these folders will then be reduced to 50% of what they were. And this is just a method to keep the hard drive clean so you don't overdo it on space and stuff. And we have our camera mode down here. This is 2 settings, controller and listener. This is really only used when you have multiple instances of this program running. You'd want one controller and multiple listeners, kind of like a client-server program, and that's kind of how it's structured. But again, these are advanced settings, and generally the user shouldn't be changing these at all. These shouldn't be changed after we've set it up the first time. So that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions or inquiries or anything, you can always find us at enertechnix.com or email us at support@enertechnix.com or sales@enertechnix.com. Thank you. Have a nice day.